wait till
Thank you, Judge.
9 o'clock hour. And it's that now. All right, we'll call this scheduled session of fiscal court into order at 9 a.m. on the 21st of December 2021. A lot of twos and ones in that. So we'll start off with an invocation by Magistrate Jason Cullen.
Most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be gathered here today. We are hoping that you will open our minds and remind us of this time of the year that your Son was born and blessed this world with so many possibilities and gifts. Heavenly Father, please watch over us that we might remember Christ as he lived a short life, but really transformed the world. Please help us to think of him as we go through this day and through the rest of this season and throughout the next year, as we do not know what will come our way next. Please put a special blessing on those in our state that have been hit with so many hard things, that thy love will truly pour over them, and that those around them that will continue to help and assist and show the love that Christ shows all of us. Heavenly Father, please bless our military that's far away from their families, that they will feel thy love and feel thy spirit and know that they will be protected and protect their families as well. And watch over us as a court, that we might do thy will with all those in mind in our community. We say these things and many others in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, next, will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next action, we need to approve the meeting minutes. You have those in your packet.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Ellis. Corrections, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Thank you. Unanimous. Next, we need to approve some bills. And Miss Mariah is at a doctor's appointment with her new daughter, and so, Darlene, do you have some information on that?
I do. I have numbers. Bills totaled $117,303.34. Standing orders were $383,245.43.
Okay.
Make a motion we approve.
Second. Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to approve the bills as presented, and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Is there any questions, comments, or discussions? All those, yes, sir.
I didn't get the bills in my package.
Here you go.
Did you send two down, please?
You didn't get them either?
I'm sorry, it's probably just that we didn't lay them down.
Sorry, but that's all right. I just kind of,
You all want to take some time to review?
we're fine. No, we're fine. I just.
John?
I'll flip through them as we go on. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All those in favor of approving the bills as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, budget transfers, and then cash transfers.
Okay. All right. I actually have an additional form here. This is just one that I'm familiar with, and it's to add two new line items. One is to add the county judge human resource director line item. The other is to add the county treasurer retirement match sick leave program. And this is where we're paying out sick leave time for the former treasurer. So I need to add those two items.
So, we need to do this by motion. You recommend?
I would recommend.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Sammons to recommend new line items of the county treasurer retirement match and sick leave program and the county judge executive human resource director line item. Any comments or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next.
Okay, as for budget transfers, that is your nice big 4-page little packet here. And I apologize, but I just finished typing all of these up last night about 6:30, so. Page 2, you will see where I made the movements for the human resource position. Those are coming out of reserve for transfer. Most of the rest of these 4 pages are basically just kind of little cleanup things. There are a couple of negative balances. This is just to move to cover those, to either zero out those balances or to move some money into them to make sure the bills are all covered.
Make a motion, we approve.
We have a motion to approve the budget transfers by Magistrate Cullen,
Second.
seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor signify of passing the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And the last one is cash transfer.
Okay.
I like seeing this laid out this way.
This is great.
Yeah, you understand it better.
Thank you.
Awesome.
These were actually the forms I mentioned a few weeks ago that I said I was familiar with in the past and I thought would be very clear cut and easy to read. And if anyone has any recommendations or changes or anything, I'm open to that. This was something I was familiar with.
No, I think this looks great. Any positive changes are welcome. So.
Thank you. I also have a similar looking one for the cash transfers. These are actually all transfers that can be made online with the bank, instead of having to write so many checks back and forth to cover. I can just have this sheet go by this, make them online, and as long as it's approved of and entered into court minutes.
So your recommendation is that, as presented on this new document, that we make those cash transfers as presented?
It is.
Is there a motion to that
I'll make
effect?
that motion, we approve of that.
Second.
Get it total.
You need to,
The total?
yeah.
So,
What's the total amount?
I do not have a total now on that.
We'll do that for the minutes. Yeah. I'm wondering if we could do like a line down here and just add them all up
Okay.
for each one. And then actually on the transfers, maybe we could do it and just put.
But those aren't gonna be a total, because they're gonna be an even
Okay.
trade.
Do you need to
Would everybody like the total, or is it okay?
just move right along, we see the total, we see
Okay.
everything.
The motion was made by Magistrate Sammons and seconded by Magistrate Short.
Total's 20,121.23.
20,000.
121.23.
Okay.
And I would be happy to add that on for the next
Yeah,
time.
of
no
course.
problem.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. All right, any comments, questions, discussions? All those in favor of approving the cash transfers as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Moving right into the consent calendar, I would like to recommend, I have a Miss Louise Allen to be on the Ethics Committee. Louise, I've talked to her, she has talked to Kay Schaller about participation and is extremely interested in helping to update and revise our ethics policy that the county has, which that committee is deeply engaged in.
I'll make that motion to approve it.
Have a motion to approve Louise Allen as an appointment to the Ethics Committee, and it was seconded by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Short. Any questions, comments?
Comments?
Okay.
Yeah. First, I think a lot of Louise, I've served with committees on Louise. She's a good person. Family, good folks, very good folks. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it would help me to be able to see the documents that created the committee to begin with, to kind of get a feel for the structure that they have. How many votes do they have now when they vote on things?
Right now, they're at 3.
Okay, so this would make 4.
Right.
I'm from the old school.
You need a
Likes
tiebreaker.
odd numbers.
Right.
So I would feel more comfortable, and once again, it's not the person, it's the structure. Most of the structures I've been involved with through the years, that is an issue to have an odd number to break a tie. We have it here. Is there a way?
We can add more.
Is there a way to do that?
We should add one more to
Okay.
that committee.
There is
All
an
right.
open seat, Judge.
There is an open seat. There was
Okay,
two-
so
there
we
were two
already
vacancies.
have,
Right.
we already have an open seat.
Yes,
Okay,
there were 2 vacancies.
so, okay, I appreciate that, because that helps me in my thought process. I'm gonna throw another thought out.
Okay.
I think this is a critical committee. Ethics Committee is very critical. The good side is, they haven't had to be very active. That's the good side. Since we are more involved in parties now than we once were, would it make any sense that the parties submit 2 names, and then you and or Tom and the leadership of the Democratic Party come up with a joint name, just to equal things out? Does that?
I think that's a great recommendation.
I just thought of that as I was considering this where we were, and I don't know if the structure allows for that. It was just a thought, and I'm passing it on.
Well, I think that's an excellent thought, but I'll be honest with you, I never looked at it from that party perspective. I don't know the other parties.
If it's not an issue, leave it
I mean,
alone.
I just don't.
Okay.
But I think it's worthy of consideration.
If it became an issue, that would be one way to work around that,
Absolutely.
that consideration.
Yeah.
I don't like the party idea.
Okay.
And that's my own personal, I do say that, I think we kind of talked about, kind of getting an idea when these seats are open. And I mean, it sounds like these have been open for a bit.
They have.
And maybe allow us to kind of submit some names again. I think we've kind of talked about that at your discretion.
Well, I think that's always open. I just need to update the vacancy list of all committees and send it out and say, give me some names.
Yeah, because we'd love to help you, because it's, you can't be all on you to figure out these names. But I think you've done a great job with not, just recommending people based on their party affiliation. I mean, I think about all the boards the seats that you filled over the last few years have been from both sides. And I don't really want to start creating a division in a court where we're kind of unified in a lot of ways.
I don't either,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to come up under the table. I want it to come up
Right.
on top of the table.
And that's why I think if we,
And that's why I threw it out there.
yeah, I think we discussed that.
I guess I could ask the 3 current members what their party affiliation is, because I don't know.
I have no idea,
Yeah.
don't want to know.
Right.
But I do know that it's a critical committee, and I don't want to get politics into it. But at the same time, I think we need to have that discussion and be aware. This is not where we want to go, and we've all agreed pretty much to that. so that when it comes up
Well,
down.
we have another vacancy and everybody in the court knows that, so give me some ideas.
The thing that I didn't understand, I appreciate John bringing that up, because I had some questions too. I had no idea, I thought 3 was what we had on the committee, I thought that was the number we.
No, there were 2 vacancies. There were
Okay,
5.
then that takes care of the odd.
Okay.
We're just
Well,
stepping
okay.
toward completion.
And I agree with John, I'm gonna have to agree with John on the party, because the people we have on there, all of them are Republicans.
They are?
Yes, sir.
I doubt that.
I don't think so.
What about independents? I mean, why just
And
limit it to two
they don't
parties? I
make
mean,
any difference to me whether Republicans or Democrats, I'm just telling you what they are.
Yeah.
Come on, over.
I don't think.
I'll verify that for you. I don't, because they were appointed by my predecessor,
That's right.
Yeah,
and so,
well, see, you're not looking at parties, and
No,
you
I'm
shouldn't
not.
be. Just like I'm appointing some people on our board now with KCO, it's time for them to be renewed. And, only thing I'm looking at now, I'm not looking at a party, but it's overweighted with judges, with no Democrats, no magistrates, very few. And I don't know why. I mean, it's, you look at a board and here we've got 10 judges and one
Time out, sir.
magistrate, so we're gonna be doing some of that.
okay.
Just equal it out, and I have no idea, I appointed 3 Republicans last week.
Well,
I didn't know what they were.
I think we all get along really well, and we've got a good unified court. My only concern is going forward, that there might be, courts that don't get along, and if we kind of set a precedent that, it's along the party lines, I think that can get really sticky and ugly.
The way I feel about it, there shouldn't be no R&D, they should just be,
That's the way it's gotta be.
am I right, Ronnie?
That's the way it's gotta be.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad we had this discussion.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah.
So give me a recommendation for a 5th appointment, guys.
It's just not like they're just falling out of the tree.
So,
Don't get on
Well,
this committee.
and I interviewed and talked to them.
Yeah, that's just it right there. It's trying to get people to serve on it.
I'm gonna have to say, I have to commend you on that, because before John will tell you, a lot of these committees like that, they're just hard to get anybody to serve. You know,
One more comment. I think right now there's wonderful geographic distribution, and I think we ought to always try to make sure, we've got 6 of us and we've got 5 slots to fill, and as much as possible get balance in the magisterial districts as well.
But you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And that's the same thing about our board. KCO,
Yeah.
nobody from the east, and very few from the far west. It's all just one little circle in central Kentucky.
Julie,
You know that.
Julie gave me a copy of the Ordinance 280, and truly, like, the fiscal court or judge doesn't appoint all these positions anyway. You're talking about representation from the county and so forth, or other parts of the county. I'm looking at this. I'm just going to read it really quick. It's not that long. The County Ethics Commission shall consist of 5 members, not more than one of whom may be a public official. The commission member selection as chairperson shall be a citizen member. The commission shall be comprised of 1 appointment made by the fiscal court, 1 appointment made by the commission of the city of Perryville, and 1 appointment made by the commission of the city of Junction. 2 remaining appointments will be made jointly by the county judge executive, the mayor of Perryville, and the mayor of Junction City with approval of the governing bodies. Members shall receive no compensation. So, if we look at that, we might not even be necessarily doing that
Right.
the right way. We have to,
We're gonna get Junction
be in
Pearl
contact with
involved.
Junction and Perryville.
It's true.
Rebecca was
It's
the
a good thing we
parable.
look at it.
Terrible. Rebecca
Rebecca
Carnero is the repairable.
I don't think we got anybody on the committee from Junction.
I don't know. Kay, Rebecca, and Joseph.
Huh?
Kay, Rebecca, and Joe.
Where's Joe live? I don't even know.
I'm not sure for Joseph.
Well, we got, according to
We'll work toward getting it stabilized.
what council said there then, we need somebody from Junction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to recommend Rodney Short, because you're allowed 1 public official. Am I correct?
I see an implied conflict of interest
I
there
think
from one of us
No.
here. That's talking about other public officials, I believe,
Because-
other than the court.
Could be,
Yeah, because they've gotta bring it to the court, and he might have a conflict of interest if there is adjudication and a recommendation.
Thank you for the recommendation, but I decline.
Could put him in an awkward
What's
position.
It could.
It really could.
I've known him a long time, and I know he'd be fine.
So Louise is our fiscal court appointment.
Have we voted on it? We haven't.
We have not.
We haven't.
We're in discussion. Julie, would you give me a copy of that, please, ma'am?
Where do these go on?
I'd like to
When we get our
Just-
website.
Okay.
get back into it. I
And-
haven't looked at it for a long
More
time.
important, what I just asked
Judge, I'm
Julie was, these will be online as soon as we get our new website, which will be nice.
Yeah, they'll be online when we get a new website, it's coming.
I'll make it.
I'm gonna
We
agree
don't wanna
with
do it right
with
now.
John there.
Just before I leave, if you don't mind.
All right.
All right,
Look out on this.
So the-
The only thing I'd like to add also, I don't think you can find a finer person in Ball County than Louise Allen is. That's just my opinion about her.
well, I can tell you this, after having some lengthy discussions with her, she is genuinely interested and committed to improving the ethics committee.
Through the years I've served with Louise, and she's a good lady, so.
We ready for a vote?
Yeah.
Please.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for
One
that.
last question, if we could figure out the fifth seat,
Mhm,
who's responsible for that, based on the ordinance?
mhm.
Junction?
I think.
I think it is Junction.
Let's verify and let's get some names out there. And Ronnie, if you want to talk with Mayor Douglas and see
Yep,
who you can come up
I've got
with.
some people in mind.
okay, good deal. All right, next on the list is, I would like to hear from the Personnel Committee on a recommendation for, the Human Resources Director.
Tom, go ahead.
John, it's yours.
Well, y'all got an email from Julie, so you know that, it was Steve Griffin, and we had 28, and does that sound right, Julie? 28 applications went through. We interviewed 2 out of appointments of those who could make it, that we narrowed it down to 6, as I remember. We interviewed, and then our recommendation is Steve Griffin, who I think most of you all know. 30 years at American Greetings. I think after we talked for a while, he really understood what he needed to do and expressed it to us, and we all agreed. So our recommendation to the court is Steve.
I'll go ahead and make that. Or is that a second you need, or
No.
I'll make the motion? Second.
Committee recommendation, so that'd be a motion from Magistrate Campbell,
I'm happy to second that.
and then seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Questions, comments, or discussions about the recommended appointment of Steve Griffin to the HR position?
Well, if the committee recommends it, and I think we have a good committee, we've all gone to the committee. I don't know this gentleman, I can't remember, can't place him, but I'm sure that,
When you see him, you'll
it's a good recommendation, so I have no questions about it.
Okay, there being no further discussions, all those in favor of the appointment, the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And I'd like to make a motion to transfer $60,000 from the surplus fund to cover 6 months of salary and the office setup.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion made to make a transfer of funds from the reserve to the HR position for 6 months. And the motion made by Magistrate Sammons and seconded by Magistrate Cullen.
It's come from this.
From the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee.
From the
I
Finance
should have
Committee.
stated
As the
that.
chairman of the Finance Committee.
Yes, sir. Our chairman's gone, so I'm filling in.
Okay, all right.
Judge, you might clarify for those listening if they missed the part about the office setup, what the salary actually is, because it could sound like it's $120,000.
Oh, well, no, the salary is 70 plus the benefit package. Is that
And that's
Well, we got-
effective when?
effective 3 January?
Okay.
I mean, we got that packet earlier what the salary stuff gonna be.
Right, effective 3 January.
We didn't get to say it, but looking at his resume, you guys did a great job. Steve's been a great servant to the public already, but I think this is a right up the alley of what we're looking for, what especially John and I have been talking about for a while on HR directors.
Julie, you might comment on Sherm and other qualifications there that are not unique among the 27, but unique to maybe 5 or 6.
We, that was 5 years experience, SHRM, familiar with SHRM and certified in SHRM. Steve hit every box of every criteria that we set out. And I think the bonus is he worked in government. He was the only applicant that had governmental experience. And I think he came right in and he knew exactly what we needed. And I feel like this is gonna really professionalize how we handle personnel issues, so.
Cool.
I'm excited.
I was too. He comes from a good district too.
Yes, sir.
Well,
John's got something he'd like to
You know,
say.
after just in talking to him, he is very, very interested and really has, I think, a handle on what our needs are. And I think it will raise, with all due respect to Shannon, I think she is totally, will be in agreement with what we've done. And they'll be good to work together and get him off to a good start. And we need to remember that Shannon has been a loyal employee for years.
Absolutely.
And has agreed that this was the direction we needed to go, which I really appreciate her attitude about it. And we need to reward her in her future work.
And Judge, 2 other quick points. Number 1, that liaison he's had as a consultant to state government is going to serve as a huge bonus. And number 2, I don't recall there being anyone with more employee count responsibility than Steve Griffin.
Well, we know if, Judge, if it doesn't work out, who to blame, all right?
Well, I think this is another great step with this
It
court
will work out.
becoming a more professional, organization. I think, you know, we keep checking off things that this court has done to make this more of a professional environment, and you know, nothing of previous courts, but I think we're just making good steps, and the times are changing and we need to kind of react with it, so we need to make sure that we're staffing people appropriately, so.
Well, county government numbers have grown.
Right.
Because trying to provide more service.
Mm-hmm.
And the laws that deal in this area have changed.
Yeah.
COVID helped change some of it, and we need truly professionalism in this area, and I think we have it.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, but I hope that we're to the point where we don't have to be hiring any more people, because we're spending an awful lot of money.
Well, as long as we spend it the right way, not just give it away. As long as we're spending money the right way, appropriate way, not just giving away money.
But we've got, after we added Julie on, we added this,
Yeah.
so it's,
I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse, but I will. You know, we give away $150,000 to $200,000 at the end of the year to all kinds of organizations. That's money we could be spending to staff the county appropriately.
I want to correct you on that, we're not giving it away, we're spending it
Well, we're giving it away.
intelligently.
But we also have to, you know, acknowledge that.
Okay, we're getting off subject, but I appreciate the passion involved on each side of the issue, but let's move on to the Boyle County
But-
CARES program.
General, real
Yeah.
quick, you know, let's make note that we did, you know, find an additional almost $500,000. So it's not like we're just blowing money out of our original budget. We've got some extra technical money, so, you know, we're not just running a negative here, so that's important to know.
Call the question.
Did you vote?
No, we did not.
We have not voted. Okay, all those in favor of the appropriation, we voted for the person. Now, this is the appropriation as presented by Magistrate Salmons for the salary and the benefits that are stipulated at 60 for 6 months, so 60,000 for 6 months. Any, no, call for the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
I now hand over back to my chair, back to the real chair of personnel.
He gladly accepts.
We'll say that gladly.
Next, Boyle County Cares Program. Gentlemen, I think the recommendation to do this has been a tremendous success. To talk about it briefly, I don't know if we have pictures of it on Boyle County Cares, but this courtroom was filled with a lot of toys. The toys were taken down by Charlie Singleton with Well Equipped on last Sunday, I think. Saturday, okay, I lose track of time. Last Saturday, and he had a truckload and a trailer load of stuff, including bikes. Now, it did go to a much needed area. I was on the phone all weekend talking to communities throughout western Kentucky, and we found an appropriate place for them to go in Ohio County and Warren County. In making those calls to dispatch and some other locations around the western part of the state, they have been inundated in a very positive way with toys and supplies and everything. So we were able to get them located in a much needed area, which is the goal that we had. I want to let the court know that I have retained a huge box of toys for distribution to our local county folks here in Boyle County that may have a need. I have two bicycles, a box of toys that is in my, and for all age groups from 3 to probably 12, 13, plus some bikes. So
maybe you could reach out to some of the schools and I can give you an idea of who could use that.
Can we do that like today or tomorrow so we can have those out to the appropriate places that can be a benefit with Christmas?
Ronnie would probably know, drive the buses about who would need them or whatever.
Lord help. I mean,
Let's call over district office. They have a good handle on.
They do?
Yeah, especially Danville. They're still in school today, so if we reach out to them today, we'll have ability to kind of do something with this.
Well, we held some back. I want the people of Boyle County to know how much we appreciate their compassion in coming forward with support of Boyle County Cares. But we also care about those who live here in this county,
right.
And we have something for them to have a special Christmas with.
Judge, while we're on that subject, and I think it would be appropriate right here, thanking you, thanking our KCO president, thanking our Sheriff Derek Robbins for actually being on site and showing the devastation that you found in Mayfield. And we certainly appreciate you guys putting in a lot of hours that day, because I know I talked to both of you during the day, and that had to be heart-wrenching.
It was, and we have some a slideshow coming up right now of some of the scenes that Magistrate Salmons and I took down in western Kentucky, and this is some of the tornado damage that we witnessed in Mayfield, and I'll talk through this while they're coming up on the screen, but I can tell you that Sheriff Robin and his staff did a tremendous job in donating 4 cruisers to the Graves County Sheriff's Department, and like it was said on Channel 18, and we may have got a little money out of it, but it was priceless to Graves County.
That's the courthouse, Judge, you might remind them.
Yeah, and what you're seeing there in that carved out area in the courthouse, to the left was a bell tower or clock tower similar to what we have here in Boyle County, and behind it, where that big void is, was the circuit courtroom, much like here in Boyle County.
And Judge, I've been there, and that clock tower was about 30 feet taller than what you see there. It was beautiful.
It was huge, and they did find the bell that was in the tower. They did find the bell.
The custodian.
I'm not sure.
Told Judge and I that he was excited about it. He said, I found my bell, the Judge.
This is, FNB Bank, downtown, gentlemen, what I saw, and I'll let Phil say whatever he wants to about it, but it looks like to me, and I've been around a lot of disasters in my military career, it looks like somebody took a lawnmower and just set over downtown. Northern Mayfield, this is a typical street scene. You're driving down the street and you have debris piles on both sides of the road, because there's nothing left in the homes.
Like a big lawnmower went over straight.
Bush hog.
Yep.
Yeah. The courthouse.
There's your KCO president at the courthouse there, and he was reaching out and talking to his counterparts of the commissioners in Graves County, which there are 3. But it's not only what it did to the building, but what it did to the land around it.
And the people.
And the
their
people.
psyche.
Yeah.
Ronnie said I should have pulled my cap off.
Can you imagine?
No, I
what
said he
those-
should have wore his cowboy hat.
Can you imagine what those children will think going in the future when the
Oh,
wind
gosh.
blows and lightning and this kind of recreation of weather again? And
It'll be terrifying.
it will be terrifying to them, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna live with that the rest of their life.
That last scene there is the one that the judge and I really like, that's already gone.
The flags are at half
Flags,
staff
staff,
coming
yeah.
into Mayfield there. The American flag and the Kentucky flag. But,
No, there's got a lot of volunteers down there.
Franklin Graham.
yeah, a lot.
Real lot, yeah.
A lot.
Franklin Graham was on Fox News this morning, and he is going to be there Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, feeding people. But the point he made that we all need to understand is, we're not gonna be weeks in, months in, we're gonna be years into
Oh,
all
yeah.
these communities with
Well-
their restoration.
That's the one thing that I really want Boyle County Cares not just be somewhat of a flash in the pan for Christmas of this year. Those folks throughout western Kentucky and these tornado damaged areas are gonna need our support and assistance for months, if not years to come. I don't even know where to tell you to start. They gotta rebuild a whole water treatment facility in Mayfield, because it destroyed it, so there's no sewers there. There's no electricity downtown. As we were driving out of town, the northern part of Mayfield was untouched. They had electricity, they had gas stations, they had restaurants open.
One thing I thought was amazing,
Didn't have no water or
well,
electric.
a judge and I came
Yeah.
by this, I think it's CVS pharmacy, Judge, what it, that hadn't been
Yeah.
touched.
Yeah,
Everything was right around it, and it hadn't been touched, it just, like nothing had happened.
Well,
It's amazing.
That's like it was over
But there's that flags again.
Yeah.
I think that's just wonderful.
Leroy's house.
Well, actually, I was going to say that. That's
The damage to Leroy's house was done by the airport debris.
yep.
was it?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
The house his son's house in behind that house in front, that house didn't get touched. But the house behind that one, the roof blew off and everything. It's just amazing how that,
Well, this section or something that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, this is devastating for Mayfield, but let's remember we had some issues here at home,
As part
nothing
of
like that, but
and
No.
and the Hardens. I know that there's in the courthouse here we're collecting for the Harden family as well. So let's keep them in our thoughts and open our wallets for them too.
Well, Boyle County Cares has the, people can donate funds to any Farmers Bank location, anywhere there is one, and 100% of donated monies will go to victims, whether here or there, of these tornadoes in December of 2021. While you're there looking, we're talking about the tornadoes. Before you have a map of all of Boyle County, and on there you see 5 pink tick marks, okay? According to the National Weather Service, the 5 tick marks are 4 EF1 touchdowns and 1 EF2 touchdown. The EF2 touchdown is the small one on the bottom center. And these have names. One of them might be Southeast Boyle County, one of them might be the airport, one of them might be this. I didn't have room or time to put these on there. But the small tick mark at the county line down here is the airport, EF2, and then you see them going out toward Hedgeville Baptist and out to the northeast. The large one there, the large line is the Trille Road, Harding Street, Maple Avenue one.
That big one, they could come pretty close to me and you, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. And I think we need to thank our stars for
Yeah.
the geographics of the knob, because we actually could see it split north and south of the knob. And this coming around the knob here to the south is where the EF2 spun up at the airport.
Judge, there's one more person I'd like to offer my sincere appreciation. I don't think many of you know this, but I've been a Gideon for 12 years. And April Hunt knew that and had the judge contact me. And we had a reservoir of hundreds of Gideon Bibles, the little pocket Bibles, that are most convenient in a tragic situation like this. And when the judge called me, I was able to get about 300 of those.
And Ronnie's church sent a bunch down too.
Yeah,
And I'm sure others have.
yeah, but April initiated that, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, she did. She did.
I think we need to also mention that Mike Wilder, in his last days, in his health situation, was there on the job.
He was at the airport, and he was on the
gate, get down.
on the news, and you know, it's fitting for what the service he has provided this county over the years, that he was afforded the last opportunity to shine in the public, and he did. He did. He's kept us well informed, and he's done some things, and we have
And yesterday in the hallway.
Yeah.
He didn't want that limelight. He was twisting his arm to get on TV, but he just wanted to take care of it. He wanted to take care of business
Right.
and not talk, so.
Yeah, that's the spirit within, within.
Going on down, I want to recognize the Sheriff's Department for their forward thinking and creativity and innovation to supply Graves County with the cruisers. They were received so well, it was just amazing, and he and his staff are deserving of the recognition that they have rightfully have earned. I want to thank the 103rd Brigade Support Battalion, BSB, out of Harrodsburg. I requested, in order to secure the perimeter front fence along Airport Road at the airport, they put in some concertina wire, razor wire to the public that would help keep people that were wanting to acquire stuff that is not theirs from entry into the airport area. And we will pick that up and send that back to, get that back to Harrodsburg in January. But I want to express publicly my appreciation to the Kentucky Army National Guard and that unit from Harrodsburg that helped supply that and do that work immediately upon request.
On the local, state, and national news, it was immediately noticeable that all across Kentucky, as far as I know, there's only been one report of looting, and they were caught in the act immediately. But that is so, if you think of Katrina and some of the other tragedies that we've had through the years, Kentuckians did extraordinarily well in making sure that that was not an issue.
Well, I thought our governor did a wonderful job getting on the ball with the National Guard, getting out to different places. So Judge and I were down there at Mayfield, and that courthouse, they'd been there over the weekend. This hit, Friday night?
9/27.
And we were there Monday morning. And
21/27.
And that stuff was, the trees were cut up in little pieces and piled up when the judge,
Yeah.
when they worked Saturday and Sunday, getting after it. So I agree with the judge, the National Guard did a wonderful job.
Yes.
They were there.
Next on my list is recognized road scholars. If we can get the guys to come in, I want to talk about the Road Scholars Roadmaster program.
Road scholars, please.
How many we got of them?
3.
You're a road scholar?
Of course.
There we go.
Recognize the
There we
new
go. I guarantee he's not a road scholar.
got another one?
Yeah, he's coming.
Oh, road scholars, yes.
Him
ROAD.
Come on in, Duane, you can come in, Mark. We have Les and Cody and Mark and Duane.
Right.
And these gentlemen, I was honored to be able to sit with them as they received their plaques in the recognition or graduation from the Kentucky Transportation and Center at University of Kentucky. Is that correct?
Yes.
On becoming a road scholar and a road master, and all 3 are road masters, which are like the master's program in higher education. And I want to let them talk about what they have done to earn this distinction, and this is not for everybody. This has been a 3-year process, gentlemen, and I listened to some other counties recognizing their participants in this program, and those other counties recognize the significant impact that this education has on their careers and their careers that the counties benefit. And there is there has been promotable opportunities involved by like members in other counties, and we should consider that for Boyle County, and we have not done that previously. But Les, I'll let each of you guys kind of talk about what you experienced and what you got out of it, and then Cody and Mark.
Well, I mean, what I got out of it was, I mean, it helped with the job. It helps us, look at perform our job better. It gave us a different perspective of how to look at something other than just going out there and going, well, okay, this is what we can do here. And it wasn't just, of course, it was the first time all of it was online. So we had to sit through Zoom and all that. That was an experience. And of course, it wasn't just about roads. It was about bridges. It was about roadside vegetation. It was about
Pesticides.
Yeah, pesticide and leadership skills and ethics and communications and So what I got out of it was, I think we can use it.
Good.
I mean,
It's excellent.
it was a good course and class.
Cody?
Yeah, same thing. It was just a lot of the stuff that we did learn pertains to what our duties are every day. We're out there removing snow, and we're also doing tree removal. But it didn't actually just focus on that part as much as it did the communications, the ethics part of it. We did do some communication classes 1 and 2, which 1 was through the Road Scholar, and then the 2 was through the Road Master. We done parts of architecture, or should I say drafting, and a lot of classes. We didn't detail with that, blueprints, and we can get on, there's a few sites there that we can get on through our phones and stuff for to locate traffic accidents that you see on the road. That would be the road audit report. So you can go on there and see where most of your accidents are, where the right-of-ways of county roads are, what your right-of-way is, and you can evaluate what you need to go further with preventing accidents on roads, road signage, proper road signage. We all got a pretty extensive and expensive MUTD guide book, which cost us about $200 a manual, and it lists all the proper ways through the state how to sign
The proper
road.
signage, the whys, the wheres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
how to set up your
It's
buffer
a long
zones.
process, wasn't
Yeah, it was. Construction zones and.
Mark, what about you?
I just want to thank you and the court and Duane for the opportunity to let us do it. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm gonna be here and, you know, further our education, you know, I think it's a good thing. And we took some classes that were very interesting. I mean, like, you know, teaching us different things. Like I said, the hows and the whys of where signs go and drainage and then once you get into the master's end of it, we went into more of a management type classes to how to deal with people with different personalities and which was interesting. But
Yeah, it helped us out, didn't it?
Yeah.
It taught you how to deal with claims, is that right?
well, kind of, sort of, yeah.
A couple of comments. Cody, you mentioned the trees. There are going to be enough ash borer killed ash trees in this county to heat the whole county for the next century. So I've already been with Duane, and I know you know, on a couple of my roads, it's been devastating and very dangerous. So I appreciate the work you've already done in my district, and I know in other parts of the county that have had that. And then number two is this obligates you to stay with the county for 30 more years.
Not 30. Not 30.
Good, I'd like to make a comment about Mark, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Mark is, I'm just guessing, probably been with the road department longer than anybody else we have on the road department.
Currently, yes.
Currently, right?
Yes.
Okay, Mark, what some of you may not know, Mark's dad had the same job, and he retired. When he retired, Mark took his place. I thought that was just great for son to follow.
He was
His
road
dad's-
foreman, I think he had 21 years in.
Wow.
And Bill, you knew them both when you were a magistrate and they were in
Yes,
grade school.
I knew them both.
I'm
Knew
kind
his
of
dad.
a county brat, as they would call it. 'Cause
Mark's got about, I'm gonna guess 17 years now.
21.
Oh, has he been there? Oh, my God.
You're older than you thought.
Careful, Airfield, you talking about your age.
Duane, would you like to say something about the program and what these guys have accomplished?
This is through the engineering department at the University of Kentucky. It's also sponsored and partially funded through the transportation cabinet as well. They work very, very hard, and they have to keep instructors, and they told you about a lot of the courses they took. They draw instructors from the state, folks who currently work with the state in various departments, folks who have retired from the state in various departments. They use people from the university to teach some of these classes. And every now and then they come and grab somebody from the county to teach a class. I teach a class too. So, they have to work pretty hard to keep on their instructors. As a matter of fact, we just had one guy retire recently that they've attended the few classes that he's taught. And so he's retired from teaching as well as he's been retired from the state for several years. But the folks at the Transportation Center work very hard on this program. And it is partially federally funded, it's state funded as well. And but then they still have to charge a small fee each time they have a class. The virtual end of it, they had to rush around and get that act together, but it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
It did pretty good.
Yeah.
Our first year, we did go to class
In person.
To a few different places. We even have a self-defense class in that.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And Duane, if you don't mind, Duane, get that pictures and so on to our girl with the Keiko, so we can get it in the.
Well, I want to take some pictures with these guys because I want to reiterate that I
There you go.
am extremely honored at their commitment to furthering their education because it improves every aspect of what their responsibility is in the county. And I'd like, if we can, to take an individual picture and then a group picture. So let's come on up here. And I want to thank you personally for all that you did to earn these, and that's so important to all of us.
Ready?
Judge, while you're,
Thank you, Cody.
Oh, photo bomb.
Actually, you know what? You were,
I think he moved.
no, you.
Come on up here.
I won't say.
Tom, I don't know where you, magistrate snored or not, but our secretary of KMCA was with, Duane knows her real well. She was secretary with this department
Oh.
when she came with us.
All right, group shot with Duane too. Come on in here, everybody. Right up here so she get a good shot up. No, face this way. She's got the camera over here.
Give her a good side cover.
We'll stand well, sir.
Okay, now. Let's see.
Can you get all of us?
I think
Do we need to
so.
back up?
No, I got it. I
scratch
just
up.
want to go in a little bit more. There we go. Ready? Got it.
All
That
right.
don't work like teachers. when
Gentlemen,
teachers
thank you.
masters.
Thank you. By your efforts.
Thank everybody here for allowing us to do this.
And that sign, or that map up there looks great, guys. Thank
Yeah,
you
it
for
does.
your work on that.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
All right, we got trees to move.
hey, if you got some ashes on you, can throw them in the
Cookies real quick.
Mark,
Oh, good.
that one.
I know you gotta eat some of these, ain't
No,
you?
no, no, no.
I'm gonna take it back home with me.
I've been in this see and
Get you more than one.
I don't know, 2:30, it's been gone, son.
I'm gonna go around this way. Let's present
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Proud of you.
Merry Christmas, you all.
Good Christmas.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be here for you.
I'll give a copy of that.
Career fine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
look.
Dad,
Okay.
your dad seen me out of Walmart. He said, I'm retired.
get all of it.
I'd like for my son to get that job.
All right, we're moving right along. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Wayne. Merry Christmas to each of you.
Take care. Good to see you.
There you go.
Here, I'll hold the door. I'll hold the door for you guys here.
All right, new guy.
All right, hold on, I actually wanna, can you exit the room real quick? Can you exit the room real quick? Thank you. So you know how I am about these slaps on the back, kind of, they're nice, but they're kind of meaningless. And I'm hoping that our new HR director will help us with this. But stuff that these guys accomplish, the court does not do anything as far as salary increase, a bonus, or anything. And so we really need to think about some way
Absolutely.
to
It needs to be in the
recognize
policy.
these guys for these accomplishments, because Tom will tell you, I'll tell you, I know you all, as soon as there's a problem, I mean, these guys especially, if there's a problem, we go right to them and expect a lot of them, and the county residents tend to think we've got like 100 guys at our disposal, but we don't. When it comes to the roads, there's a lot of roads that they have to cover, a
It's
lot of
amazing.
things they have to cover, so, I mean, this is a great accomplishment that we really should be recognizing.
And you remember what I said when I introed? I said that other counties compensate them with recognition of their accomplishments with reward in their salary packages.
That's why I made the statement, teachers, they go get their master's degree,
Yeah.
they get a real big hike in their pay.
We need to consider the same thing.
I agree with
Well,
that.
and let's understand too that I don't think these guys have had an actual raise, especially the road department, have had a raise in a very long time.
15 years.
Right. So,
This is why we went after an HR.
correct.
To bring these kinds of issues into the world that he's worked in for 30 years plus, so.
Correct. So,
I agree with you.
Darlene, I would love for you to work with our HR director to figure out bonuses for items like this,
Right.
salary increases, different levels,
It's wide open.
Mark's here for 21 years.
Just give one example. On a
He's probably only
Friday,
had one raise in 21 years.
on a Friday afternoon, the judge and I got separate calls to a 30-inch tree that was 40 or 50 feet tall, blocking one of our roads. We accidentally both met out there at the same time, and that tree was gone within no time at all. Huge tree.
Yeah, yeah,
And they have
okay.
to know how to do it safely.
Well, they know what they're doing, boys, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, we got a great crew.
Yeah.
We got a great crew.
So I'd like to recommend, I don't know how we do this, but make one of the first things that Steve does come January is try to figure out how we recognize these bonuses.
And I want them
I
to
agree
be
with you.
considered
Agree with you.
retroactively, should that come to
Correct.
fruition.
Yes.
Okay?
So,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
All right.
perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, Brian, come on in. I want to introduce Brian Caldwell, who is now officially no longer the mayor of Perryville. He's our new emergency management director, and I wanted to bring him in, and we plan to, later on this afternoon, he and I will meet, along with Julie, we'll meet with Lieutenant Governor Cullen at the airport. Ronnie, I hope you can be there for that if you're available at 1 o'clock. We plan to be there around 12:30, and Jason and then also, and so anybody's welcome from the court, for real, to meet with Lieutenant Governor as she surveys the airport damage there. I've already, one shortcoming that we have with Brian right now is the fact that he doesn't have an office. And he's working out of the desk, adjacent to Missy's office, and so just to give you an update, our current retiring EM director, Mike Wilder, is out today with visits that he needs for his health, and so, but he will be here tomorrow, and we plan for them to visit quite a bit tomorrow and get caught up on some things, so.
Judge, you might mention, I don't know whether the court knows it or not, but I think it was last week, Mike had to have double hernia surgery in addition to everything else he had.
And to be honest with you, he probably should not have been, but he was at the airport for that press conference.
Yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to be driving yet.
Yeah,
No, he's tough.
he's a tough nut, so. Brian, I'll let you have the floor, whatever you want to say.
Well, just, I think you've already introduced me. Of course, most of you probably already knew me. Look forward to coming on board and picking up where Mike left off. Realize he's been there 8 years, done a great job, and just want to step in and continue his legacy. I think, did you touch on?
I did
Yes,
briefly
earlier.
earlier about the EF2 in the bottom center, and then the 4 EF1 tornado strikes or touchdowns in.
Kind of a unique time, really, for jobs to be transitioning in the middle of a 5 tornado outbreak in the county. Those 4 EF1s were, and the FEMA names for those are the actual Danville tornado, which originated on Nichols Street and headed northeast. The southeast Danville, which was a small track also at an EF1, and then of course the airport at EF2, and then up in the northeast corner there, originating right around Old Bridge and then heading northeast there was the southwest Bryantsville tornado, and then further southeast of there is the Hedgeville, which was on the ground for comparably to the southwest Bryantsville tornado, but luckily they hit in areas that was not heavily populated. So that
What
was
about the
our,
one in 74?
was our blessing.
What about
The one that did Texas Eastern back in
Mhm.
1974. In Texas, aren't they still, in both county and Lincoln?
It's
Texas
in
Eastern. Okay, so you wouldn't have that. But that was an F5.
To my knowledge,
Back in
there's not been an
74.
EF5 registered in this country, but I could be wrong about that.
I was in that.
No, in the country.
Chandler.
It was in Lincoln County where this one come through. Across 300 Chandler's egg farm, you remember that? It hit Western, Eastern. They afraid it was gonna blow up, so.
Destroyed that chicken farm out there, chickens hanging everywhere, remember?
Yeah, it just took everything out.
Right.
It might not have been 5.
Just so you know, Brian's commitment is to be engaged 24/7, 365, and to keep us informed. He will be inheriting the EMA vehicle that Mike's been driving. it has deputy coroner on the back, we need to think about a vehicle for the deputy coroner and coroner to have access to use in their performance of their jobs, and we don't have that right now. We might be able to secure that with a vehicle from EMS that is a little bit older and surplus, which was used once before. So we maybe need to look at that, so we can spread that wealth around.
One thing that Mike brought up as well is when we're looking at surplus vehicles, we may want to look to see if EMS can use them, especially if they start talking about having some paramedics that'll be running in chaser vehicles or whatever. So anytime any departments have surplus, maybe we talk to EMS to see if they'd be useful to them or not.
EMS getting so many calls, they going,
Right.
they may not have a surplus vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, then what that's gonna facilitate, Court, is that's gonna facilitate our examination of additional requirements, considerations for additional ambulances and staffing as we become more deluged with calls throughout the county.
If you follow their call, their monthly calls, it's amazing, the increase.
Yeah, well, actually, Judge, you brought a good point. We've been so fortunate in this county to have the two coroners we've had that we all remember, Dr. Ramey and then Dr. Hammer, just done a wonderful job. Neither one of those guys have requested anything really from this court. John will tell you about Hammer because they're close friends. Actually, if they request it, we're supposed to furnish them an office and a vehicle. Am I correct, John? And supply it and whatever, but neither one of them ever asked for an office, never asked for a vehicle.
They haven't.
So we've been fortunate that, and I agree with the judge, I think that I don't think we probably should look for an old wild one. I think we should look for something we'd be proud to somebody see, here comes a coroner, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe like a small van that he could pick up, if he had to, pick a body up.
Proud to see the coroners.
I believe we still have access to a truck that has a slide-out bed in it that was used once before. We might need to go back to that consideration for Hamner and Wilder to use going forward in the future, and just, you know, decal it up for their use.
I noticed Garrett County has a small kind of an SUV with corner on the side. It's solid blocked off, you know.
Yeah.
Get you a smart car.
Things for us to consider going forward.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to have Brian on board. I'm excited. I've absolutely and thoroughly enjoyed my interactions with Mike Wilder, and he knows that. And Brian, likewise, I'm excited to have him on board and looking forward to that opportunity to move forward.
We might,
Finally call you Brian.
That's right.
if you don't mind, we might have Missy, if you don't mind, text all of us. I'd like to have your,
Yes, sir.
if you don't mind having your
No,
cell phone
absolutely.
number. Okay, when I use.
Oh, you absolutely should have it.
Quite a bit, thank you.
He's getting a new cell phone, county
That's
cell
what I'm talking
phone
about, yeah.
today.
Okay.
But you can actually give everybody my personal number also.
I'll make sure everybody has it, okay?
Okay.
I will, the county phone number will,
Okay.
we'll just add that one to the ones that already has my personal number.
Anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. Just glad to be on board. Look forward to working.
Great
with
to have
everyone.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
You see, if Trille's out there, send her in.
He's right here.
All right. There's Miss Trille. Come on in here.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
That's really.
Y'all doing good today?
Good.
Good. All right, I think you all have a copy of my 2022 budget.
Yes.
All right. It's all based on previous year's receipts and disbursements. So I just take what we spent this current year and try to adjust based upon that. The only thing that has really been adjusted to any amount is, of course, the salaries, because that changes with the elected officials, maximum amount, and the cost of living for any of the deputies. So, not a lot there, but it does have an increase. I don't know, Department for Local Government was at our county clerk meeting in November, and they indicated that there might be a higher CPI for next year. So
We don't know what that
But we
is.
don't know what that is. They told us that it could be as high as 5%. I don't know if it will get there, but, you
Haven't seen
know,
that in a long
Merry
time.
Christmas if it does.
Oh, it is.
So I have adjusted for that within the salary range.
Okay.
But other than that, you can see what our receipts and our disbursements are and our excess fees or the book balances that's shown on the summary sheet. So I'm just asking for the 2022 budget to be approved, and then I also have a salary cap order that I will need approved secondly.
Make a motion to approve it.
We're doing the budget recommendation. Budget first. We have a motion made by Magistrate Shannon and seconded by Magistrate Kaywood to approve the clerk's budget as presented. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you. Then I have the salary cap order, and this is for the deputies. It includes everything that has an X by it, because we now take care of our own benefits through the county clerk's office. So the amount set for the calendar year of 2022 is $639,550.
You see that in your binders on the last page on tab 2.
That includes salaries and all benefits.
Entertain a motion to
Make a
approve
motion.
the salary cap
So,
as presented. A motion made by Magistrate Short and seconded by Magistrate Kaywood. Questions, comments, or discussions?
On page 4 of 5 on the quarterly report for the budget for 22, all the salaries that are listed here, do those include the benefits package as well, or?
The benefits are right below. And then you got the salaries and under personnel services, and then you got the employee benefits right under that.
Okay, so the ones up top do not, so that's just a straight salary and then the benefits are underneath.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve it.
We had that, right? Magistrate Short and Magistrate Kaywood seconded.
We've been so long, I forgot.
Okay. Any other discussions, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. It is unanimous vote.
Thank you. This is a bittersweet moment for me. This is my last budget as county clerk. So I want to thank all the court members, judge, for your all support in the last 3 years, approving the budget and everything else that you all have helped with the county clerk's office.
Do we need to fill this out for you?
Yes,
and get
please.
this back to you, who made the motion and seconded and
Yes.
the vote
Missy
unanimous?
knows what to do.
All right,
Yeah.
you've been a wonderful clerk, and it's all been good to work with you.
Well, thank you very much.
We
I
thank you for your service.
appreciate you all.
Thank you for your service.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Thank you.
All right. Next is, let's see, Duane. Shannon, if he's gone.
He's gone.
Oh!
Can't be.
Did he leave?
Quit my bed.
Yes.
Quit my bed.
Okay, let's go over that real
We might need to
quick.
call him back.
Yeah.
He's got time.
Well,
It's just.
it's just the advertisement
Okay.
for on the tab 3, you can read that where the currently is accepting sealed bids. We need to approve him accepting sealed bids for hourly equipment operator projections going forward.
So move.
And motion made by Magistrate Kaywood to accept the recommendation to do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Any questions on this? Yes, sir.
Now, as we discussed last meeting, this is leasing equipment, correct?
Our hourly operational equipment cost. Yeah, not to purchase.
I understand, but I think that word ought to be in there, that it's leased, for clarity.
It's like, it's not really a lease, it's hourly rate to
Okay.
utilize the equipment.
Okay.
It costs $20 an hour to check out a chainsaw.
It's like going to Will.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, now, Shannon.
First thing was, there's several comp agreements to be approved.
I make that motion we approve.
second.
We have a motion to approve several comp agreements made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Short. Questions, comments, discussions?
This is the most I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Jail.
Jail.
There's several.
Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And the other is the reappointment order.
Now, on this reappointment order, there are maybe, we need to vote on the reappointment order, and this is just a traditional KRS requirement, that the COLA is awarded based on the reappointment of people in our employee. If there are calculations or something wrong in some of this, we'll make those adjustments going forward. But the important thing is the names of the people who are on there right now.
Yep.
For reappointment, and that's all the employees of the county. Is that correct?
Can I add one thing, Judge?
Yes, ma'am.
Jason just pointed out, we did figure in, when we did the jail increases, we went ahead and figured in the cost of living. Do you remember that? You don't remember that?
No.
We did. Yeah, so when you approved that, that was part of the number.
What's in here?
Yeah.
The proposed rate would have to be adjusted since it was approved at the earlier
Well,
amounts?
when we did our forecasting, that 5% was part of the, or what it's
2.5%.
2.5% was part of our forecasting when we did those jail raises, so.
All right.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, to approve the proposed wage increases and reappointment of the personnel of the county.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Short, seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and motion carries. All right, unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before she leaves, Judge,
Yeah.
if I may, I want to thank you for your trip down this path of bringing in an HR person, your attitude, and your support,
Well, thank you.
which has been very important to those who were involved in it. I want to thank you.
Well, thanks.
And appreciate your work in that area.
She will
And
continue to help the appointment of Stephen and Luke.
You've done a great job.
thank you.
Thanks.
That's it.
It's
I
been
agree.
stressful at times, I'm sure.
That's only when Tom's calling.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Very good.
All right, looks like Darlene Lanham is up next.
Really don't have a whole lot.
Good.
You already give it to us there,
I was
Darlene.
gonna say, I
Darlene, I can't pronounce her name. Darlene.
Darlene.
pretty
All right, we'll go around committee reports. We'll start with Magistrate Ellis on committee reports.
She didn't have anything?
No.
Thank you, Judge. We are almost predominantly an agricultural county. As all the news has come in all over the state of the tornado damage, I doubt that 3 more people in this room are aware that the UK research farm in Caldwell County in western Kentucky was devastated. Right. My wife and I visited that for over 40 years. It was remarkable back then, but in the last 10 or 12 years, the new structures that have gone on, multi-million-dollar structures, as the judge has characterized it, like a giant bush hog came down, and to my knowledge from what I've seen, there's virtually nothing left. Commissioner Ryan Quarles is a very good friend of this court, a very good friend of this community. Some of the best farmers in this community are his personal friends, and he has been actively jumping on that issue. I've seen it on Facebook 2 or 3 times already. And we just have to acknowledge that as we do the rebuild that the judge talked about earlier, we have to be aware that one of the economic engines of Boyle County and this state is agriculture. We talked about other issues where the commissioner and the attorney general are actively pursuing relief on meat prices. If you went to Kroger yesterday, as John and I did, you can buy a standing rib roast this long. It's only $24.99 a pound. I'm saying that very acerbically, thinking that 4 or 5 years ago, if you bought one for Christmas, it might be $8 or $9 a pound. That's an issue with packing houses out in the Midwest that the Attorney General and Ryan Quarles are active on right now. I call it price fixing. I think legally they're very cautious about their choice of words. But our ag department is going to need all our support in the world, both here in Boyle County, but specifically across the state, with the loss of things like the UK research farm facilities that they have down there. I just wanted to get that on the record. A second issue, I have just learned from a personal experience at my church that when a red-tailed hawk or any protected species of bird is injured in the United States and on the federal endangered list or federal protected list, two separate lists, you cannot take them to a veterinarian and he or she cannot touch them under federal regulations. This happened yesterday. I've had a magnificent red-tailed hawk in my garage in a large box provided by our church when they picked him up off Cunningham Way yesterday afternoon. And that bird has a dropped wing and had to be in misery all night long while I kept him warm in our heated garage and tried to feed him, but he couldn't move enough to feed. This morning he was cocking his head left and right, interested in, when I was talking softly to him. But it is unconscionable that we have a regulation that does not allow veterinarians to immediately at least relieve the pain. I am pleased to tell you that Kylie Fouché Hubbard, one of Congressman Guthrie's top aides, has been helping me all through the night and this morning, because we are going to go after that regulation. I think it was terribly ill-advised. Intention might have been great, but not one veterinarian in this community dared touch him because they would get a severe fine and face arrest for helping an animal in its misery. And I just had to get that out this morning. And then finally, I am very pleased that a constituent called with a relative having battled in the Middle East, a distinguished Marine, and asked me to pursue how you get a name on the wall that Jack Hendricks is so responsible for out near the old fairgrounds. I've got those details now. I've discussed it with the judge, and I think I'll turn that to the judge now as something, because Jack has told me that he wants a minimum of 4 or 5 names before he will put the names on, because it's a task that takes some time and effort, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks minimum to get any individual plaque ready to put up on that wall. Judge?
This the Veterans Park out on the bypass is a special place, because it's not a memorial to those who have necessarily passed, although there are some names on there that have passed. But it's a list of those who have lived in Boyle County and served in our armed forces or currently live in Boyle County. Those are the 2 primary considerations. There's other considerations, but if you satisfy those 2, that you entered into service and the service of our nation in the military from Boyle County or currently live here, you can be included on there. And I don't know if you have Jack's telephone number or whatever, but he'd be willing for that to be out there so people can contact him directly.
We've already identified a couple more who are not on the wall.
Absolutely. It's absolutely one of the best memorials that a county has out there across this state, with the tank and the artillery piece and the flags of each of our services that are out there. It is absolutely a place that people can come and reflect and touch the names on there and say, my dad, my brother, my sister, my mother served in the armed forces of our military. And it's a way that the county can show their appreciation for those whose names are on those bricks, and it can be added to in perpetuity.
But don't forget, really thank Jack and tell those people, anybody, Jack worked hard, John will tell you.
Absolutely.
We fussed at Jack a lot of times when Jack was trying to get the tank, and he was trying to get this, and he's trying to get money for the fence, and Jack is responsible for that memorial garden out there.
Well, most recently, for making sure it's deeded
Yeah,
properly.
yes,
Working with the
yes,
county
and
attorney to make sure
everything.
that's deeded in
And the
perpetuity.
county attorney followed up on that, we got that done like it should be, so it can never be sold or done anything with it, you know, so that's great. I'm proud, that, like the judge says, to have my name out there on that wall, but what I'm really proud of is my son's name's right next to it, where he served in the army, so.
Well, I was very fortunate that my little brother took my father before he passed on to Hawaii, and because he was serving 4 years in the Pacific as a bombardier on a B-24, my brother found out that he too, having gone to Pearl 2 or 3 weeks after it was attacked, had the opportunity to have his name, and my brother made sure that happened. So I know what it must mean to all you men and women who've served, and God bless you all, and that's a well-deserved honor. One more thing, Judge. Merry Christmas, safe holidays, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Same back to you. Thank you.
I gave our last committee report last time.
Last time, okay.
So that one was taken care of. I'll start off with Merry Christmas to y'all, and thank you very much for another good year. It's been a wonderful year, and I think we've done a lot of good things. Thank Bill for our new mics.
Is it nice to have?
I didn't get one single text asking to give somebody a mic, so it was nice and peaceful. I want to say that we have these on our desks. I don't know if anyone paid attention to them. I don't know if were you going to talk about this?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, this is Survivors of Suicide Bereavement Support Group. Looks like they're going to be meeting over at the Boyle County Library on the first Thursday of the month from 6 to 7. We cherish this time with our families, this time of year to be able to spend together. You know, my kids are all home right now, which is nice. We've got a full house again, and they're home visiting for a couple weeks. And while it just got quiet at the Cullen house, it's noisy again, but I like it. You know, I miss them greatly. But my family has friends that have been affected, by suicide. And so this is a hard time for them this time of year. So thank you for putting this on our desks. And the ASAP group, I know this is something that they deal with. And
Exactly.
we just had to attend a service for one of my ex-employees who recently passed away. She was 23 years old. Beautiful young lady. Family's a fantastic family here that moved here not too recently ago, but it's hard to kind of see some of these kids pass away, whether it's by suicide or other problems that we have in this community. So please keep those families in mind, as we're together as a family. So, but again, this group meets on the first Thursday of each month from 6 to 7. And if possible, sir, I'd like to think if we could close the memory of this, if we keep the Shiflett family.
To who?
Shiflett family, Shifflett. No, there's one F, I'm sorry. They lost Lauren about a week ago. And so if we could close the memory of
So last name again?
The last name's Shiflett.
Shifley.
Yep. So Lauren was an employee of mine. You coming out to the shop on Ponder Court
Oh, yeah.
would have recognized
Yeah,
her.
yeah, sure
So,
did.
young,
That's why I asked for the last name again, I'm sorry.
young lady that
Yeah,
people really,
you
really
never
love.
know.
You don't. So it shocked a lot of my, well, I guess would be my ex-employees, and so a lot of people that showed up for that mass, and so. Anyway, so if we could close out, I'd appreciate that,
All
sir.
right.
So,
Done, thank you. Anything else?
no, that's all.
Okay. Counselor?
I got something recently from Stice and Harbison. That's a law firm. They're a big law firm, like all over Kentucky, and they're probably in other
My son
states.
worked for him.
They're probably in other states as
Yeah.
well. Anyway, we've I guess a couple meetings ago, we hired them. I think they're helping us to how we're going to use
ARPA.
the ARPA money. Okay. Well, we got a letter Judge Hunt did from Stice and Harbison, and one of their offices represents McKesson Corporation, that's one of the defendants in the opioid lawsuit that we've joined in. We're a plaintiff. It's a class action suit where we're a plaintiff in that. And so, anyways, they identified this. They said, well, we represent McKesson, but now we're representing you. Potential conflict of interest. I mean, they've done their research, and they don't believe that it is a conflict of interest, and I don't think so either. But they attached something for us to sign, basically waiving the conflict of interest, if any, and saying that we're not going to seek to have them removed as attorney for McKesson in any future litigation. So I'm okay with this, and I just wanted to bring it before the court, just to let you know my legal opinion on that.
We don't necessarily need a motion, but I think we need the court's approval or acknowledgement of allowing me to sign that there is acceptance of what he said, that there is no conflict of interest in the representation from McKesson.
I have a slight bit of concern on this one.
Okay?
Chris, I value your opinion greatly, but I don't know, I know that there's very limited law firms that help out with the ARPA that I'm aware of, but can we maybe look at to see if there's others that we may want to just completely clear ourselves to make sure there's no issues and maybe entertain?
Well, now, this has nothing to do with ARPA, okay? First, right?
No, they represent us to help us with ARPA, but they also represent this other firm. McKesson, that we're basically trying to sue because of the opioid crisis.
I'd like to add when you're finished.
So we would have to sever our relationship with our contractor, Compass, who Stites and Harbison.
And my ask is that we possibly look to see if there's somebody else out there. So because I feel this is a conflict of interest, but
Well, there is.
I mean, I understand it's a large law firm.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
Or do we not sign this release?
Well, I don't think we should sign the release right now, but I think that we should also look to see if maybe we need to go through a different advisor that doesn't use this law firm in order to help us with it.
Shouldn't we listen to our counselor and see what he recommends? Chris, I think we're all right with it. What do you think?
I think we're all right. I mean, but what Jason's saying,
right.
I don't, entirely disagree there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit there. I mean, it's kind of like when sometimes I see, I've had issues where somebody's representing somebody in divorce, and now they're representing the other party against them in something, in some other legal action, you know, and it's not a conflict, but it's kind of, it walks that fine line. So I think as far as Stites and Harbison getting in trouble, you know, with the Bar Association or anything like that, no. I mean, it's not a conflict from that perspective, but I mean, there are a lot of, you know, they're representing somebody that we're suing, and they want them to probably not have to pay us anything. So then they're going to tell us that you know, how to use the money that we're going to get from the ARPA. So it's a fine line, and I mean, I don't think that that's a bad idea to just to see if any other firms are kind of doing the same thing. So
May I finally get in here? I share Magistrate Cullen's concerns. I've been involved with corporate leaders in 2 major settings. I believe, not being an attorney, that we can distinguish our relationship with Stites and Harbison, and I'm very familiar with their principles. And I'm saying that as the people principles, not the, and their principles with the E as well. The however here is, I believe that we can distinctly have them representing us for ARPA and someone else for McKesson, so that there never is any implication whatsoever. Can you bear with me that with McKesson alone, since they're representing us as the plaintiff and McKesson as the charged, can you see 2 Stites and Harbison attorneys sitting across from each other debating on our behalf? I can, because I'm not an attorney, but I can see that conflict right there, if it's possible. And certainly, first and foremost, research before we sign, unless there is a date certain that we have to sign, and I doubt that would be the case.
They don't have anything.
But research before we make this step, because huge fiscal impact with ARPA, significant, if not huge, fiscal impact for this community with the McKesson decision. And I just can see 2 Stites and Harbison attorneys having to face off it, one for us and one for the charged. And that needs to be unraveled before I can be satisfied with the signature by the judge.
Stites and Harbison is represented in Reno County government, and most of us know Barry Stites real well, and they also represent CACO. So I don't want to cut any strings, me personally, with Stites and Harbison, because Louise done a good job for us. So it might be a good idea for us just to have Stites and Harbison stay with us on
ARPA,
Arthur, and then look at someone else on the other. But I don't think Stites.
I don't think we get to choose for them to get McKesson. I think
that McKesson is the one that hired them. We have no choice on that part, but what we do have a choice on is whether we let them represent us with ARPA.
Right.
And another attorney for McKesson.
Huh?
And a separate law firm for us on the McKesson.
Well, it's not like, no, we have nothing to do with McKesson outside the fact that we're suing McKesson.
They're defended in a lawsuit. So we can't say, hey, why don't you just get out of the
McKesson?
They're not going to do that.
No, I
understand.
I understand that.
Our attorney is the Attorney General.
Only.
Oh no, our attorney's also in the opioid, that big law firm that we've hired.
Right, but that's why I was kind of confused about your ask on this. What this is all about is, do we allow Stites to represent us when they're also representing someone else that we're suing? I mean, the reason they send out this conflict of interest is because it could get sticky. And so do we really want to be involved with that if it goes sideways? And that's my whole ask, is that we put the brakes on for a second, look to see who else is out there that could possibly represent us in ARPA, and then make that decision at another court date in, say, January. Do we have to sign this right now?
No, it doesn't have a deadline, but yeah, I mean, because they could be arguing for McKesson that they don't need to pay us anything, and that could be millions of dollars that they save McKesson, which a percentage would have otherwise come to us.
Right.
And then they're helping us advise on the ARPA, so it's.
I've known their principal attorney for over 40 years, and I'm convinced that one of the folks who's now in charge or below that person could easily issue us a statement that would satisfy me beyond what you might be looking at there.
Yeah.
The last part of this letter says, the purpose of this letter is to seek such formal consent from you on our representation of McKesson in this matter. We request that Boyle County acknowledge that it will not seek to disqualify Stites from representing McKesson in any matter, including but not limited to acting as trial counsel in the opioid litigation. Further, if a conflict arises, you understand that Stites may need to withdraw from its representation of Boyle County, and that Stites' withdrawal will not preclude its continued representation of McKesson. We appreciate your consideration of this request. So they're basically saying that they're not going to withdraw from McKesson whatsoever.
I know, and that bothers me all the more because we could be months down the line and all of a sudden there's a glitch because there's a perceived conflict and we're hustling to try to find a new law firm. I just think we need a document from Stites to give one or two of us a little more satisfaction.
I don't follow your train of thought. What Chris is saying is that they could dump us at any time.
That's my point. That's my point. And
so
that language really bothers me.
So are you with staying with Stites or are you against?
I'm concerned that they could drop us when the train has left the station and almost to the destination, and we have to go find another law firm.
Let's don't sign this today. It's my recommendation, and let me get with RJ and Compass to see if there's an alternative consideration based on this document that the council has received.
And again, I want to say for the record that I'm totally in support of that law firm. I've known them for over 40 years, dealt closely with them on legislative issues in the past, and they're more than clean and reputable.
I'm not questioning that, but when they've got multiple attorneys that can act in different ways than what the principal does, we find that in lots of
right, I mean, they're very reputable, one of the best around. You know.
And I believe ethically credible.
Absolutely.
But they're also saying in that document, they're willing to kick us to the curb because of a bigger client.
Well, I couldn't have said it better, Judge.
That's right. I agree with Jason. Let's look at somebody, maybe another firm to represent us on Harper and just go that way.
Let me help investigate the alternatives.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, is everybody in agreement with that?
Thanks for bringing that up, Chris.
Other than that, just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's been a trying year in the court system, but we're surviving, and everything has to still go forward. And who knows what 2022 is going to bring us as far as how we operate in the court system, fiscal court, and everything else. But it's been a pleasure working with you all this past year, and I think we've done a lot of good things for our county. So just wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, thank you, staff too.
Yeah.
That's his election.
Yeah.
How is it?
His election.
I'm next.
Magic Simmons?
You want committee report first?
Yes, sir.
Bet you're ready.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie, Magistrate Short, I should say, and I don't even so long I call him Ronnie. Magistrate Short and I met on November the 8th at 11 o'clock at the Humane Society. We met with Christina and Eli. James was...
Okay, Eli will work.
What's his name?
Elias.
Elijah.
No.
Add an A and an S to Eli.
Let me back up and say our animal control officer. And James was out due to the fact that his mother had passed away. And Ronnie and I didn't know it at that time. But anyhow, we had a short meeting. They had no cats, period. All the cats had been adopted out. They didn't tell us how many. And they had 6 dogs present. And most of them were puppies, and they thought they'd be gone by evening. The place is always, really clean. Christina's a quiet like lady, but she does a good job keeping it clean and everything look good. So, we had a short discussion because there's nothing really to discuss. If you don't have any animals, there's nothing much you can do. So we adjourned about 11:25, and that's my report. I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion made to approve the animal control report, made by Magistrate Salmon, and seconded by Magistrate Short, as presented. Any questions?
I would say, like to say something about that. The dogs was all pet bulls,
Yeah.
and, so,
Pet Bill, most of them, some of them puppies.
some of them was puppies. They might have had one that they probably talked like they wouldn't be able to give to anybody because it had some, problems, but,
Biting.
yeah, so, anyway. Well, I just want to let you know it was all pet bulls. So.
Yeah, they were.
That no cat thing is, I'd like to get some more education out there. We get a lot of, well, I've gotten a few people that have talked to me about the cat issue. People want to surrender cats to the Humane Society, and a lot of times they'll say no, and people don't understand. They're like, oh, that's the whole purpose. But when explained, a lot of people, you're like, okay, it makes sense. So the Humane Society generally doesn't like to take them because when they come into the doors, then they have to people have to pay for the cats. And people don't usually want to pay for the cats because you can pretty much go anywhere in the county and get a free cat. And so a lot of those cats unfortunately sit, and the alternative is they sit and then we can't keep them too much longer, and so we don't want to euthanize. And so I'd like to see some sort of campaign out there where they let people know in advance why we can't take, but they do an excellent job if it's a feral cat where there is money out there where they can go ahead and have them fixed and then released back out there, and cats are territorial. So that kind of eliminates the issue of more wandering cats.
Jason, they got grants for that if people brings cats in there.
Yeah, we have
Right.
both.
Right, well, that's what I said. They need to make that grant more aware, but a lot of people think they can just drop the cats off and
they got a set fee on, if you adopt anything, they got a set fee because of the cost of,
correct.
all
Feeding.
the costs they have. So,
Yep.
but it's a set fee, if they have to spend more on a cat to fix or whatever, that fee still stays the same.
Are they
But
still
I
getting-
think it's a little high myself.
I do
Yeah.
too.
And,
Other counties will take it, which is interesting, but are they still getting the,
that's not true either.
Well-
I found a cat in Mercer County.
mhm.
They would not take that cat. Mercer County would.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying somebody,
We did
Donate.
have somebody on Mitchellsburg who took a cat to Marion County, and they did take it.
yeah, same with Jessamine County. But my other question, Phil, you'd always talked about this, is something that I think you kind of pioneered, if I remember. Are they still able to go to like Walmart and get the broken bags of dog
They still
food?
do.
Yes, sir.
They still do that? Okay. I think that's great, little
Yeah.
service on
Yeah.
both sides, so,
We started that several years ago.
right.
We had a problem with, we were getting them broken bags, and we had a problem with them showing up to pick them up. And the lady out there in charge decided that she wouldn't let us have any because nobody was coming on time, and it created a problem for her, so she gave them to Mercer.
Okay.
I found out about that, and I talked to our director, and I said, if I can convince her that we will pick those up on time, will you make sure that you're there? And he assured me that he would. So I go out and talk to the lady that's in charge back there, the dog food and all this. And I promised her that and I gave her my phone number. I promised her that if she called during the week, that they would be picked up within 2 hours.
Great.
And she said, well, we'll try and see. She didn't think we would. And I said, I'll check back with you periodically to make sure it's okay. And I told Dan, I said, it's gotta be picked up. And we started getting that, and that saved us a lot of money instead of buying it.
Yeah.
And I went back at least once a week for a year to make sure, and she said, oh, everything's going wonderful. And it's still.
Did you cut a couple bags while you were there
Yes.
too?
But thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I mean, I think, Another cost savings to the county, so.
It is big cost savings.
About $6,000 a year.
All right, it's time to vote on the motion to approve the minutes as, of the,
Judge, I'm sorry, we
report
wrote it
as
out.
presented. And, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. Next.
You okay?
The only other thing I have,
Sure.
I want to
You
kind of
say.
echo what Jason's saying about, everybody having safe travel, and, if you're going out of town, be careful, because, I was in, Lexington yesterday, and, I almost wrecked 3 times by somebody pulling straight across in front of me. You gotta watch what you're doing, it's dangerous, and, just be careful. Another thing, I agree with the council, we've had a good year, we've made a lot of changes, we've done a lot, and, I wanna thank these committees that's done this kind of work, because, John and Tom and Jason, Ronnie, and all of you, and Jamie have just done a wonderful job, and I wanna thank you, and thank you for me being able to serve with you. Counselor, thank you for being there for us. And if we have a question or something, I think we all feel comfortable in calling you. And Judge, it's been an honor as one military person to another to serve with, I say serve with you. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to ride down to Western Kentucky with you the other day. I wouldn't have to drove myself, but I rode with this gentleman, and he did a great job. So thank you, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas. And all of you have a main thing, be safe, and let's not forget what we're celebrating and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Short? Thank you.
The Environmental Service Committee met Wednesday, December the 8th, 10 o'clock, at the Government Service Center. Attendance was me, Phil, and Angie Munson. Discussion was about the recycling center, involvement of that, discussion of violations that has been sent to the county attorney, that we're working on getting cleaned up. So, but we're trying to clean our counties up a little bit, which that's a good thing. And I've got quite a bit in my area, which he knows. But anyway, Director Munchie gave us a yearly estimate review on recycling. Right now, the estimate is $160,275 that they have made this year. And I asked her, said, "Have we ever made any money at all?" And she said, "Not till this year." So that's a good thing. And she said she would give the final results of that at the
January.
Next meeting, where she gets all the totals together. But it's going to be more than 160,000. So we dismissed it.
That is impressive.
It is. It just shows you how good she is. She knows what she's doing. And anytime we bring money back into the county, that's a good thing.
Yep.
Especially from trash.
And we adjourned at 11 o'clock.
All right, that's your motion to accept the minutes for the Environmental Services Committee.
Yes.
I second it.
And it's made by Magistrate Short and second by Magistrate Simmons. And any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. What else?
I'm going to say it's been a privilege working with all of you. It's I consider you part of my family, and wish each one of you a Merry Christmas,
especially me,
and a good New Year, especially Phil.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, John, your turn.
Well, I'm gonna start with something that you all brought up, and that is the work that Jack did on the wall. What a great job he's done.
Absolutely.
All those names on there are brothers and sisters to those whose names are on there. And it's an honor for me to have brothers to my right, sisters to my right, brothers to my left, and sisters to my left. And let me give you an example. I'm driving down Paducah Friday afternoon. I get a phone call. It's from my Vietnam medic, who is called to see if we're okay. Hadn't seen him, but maybe twice in 50 years.
Wow.
But he lives out in the Midwest, and he thought enough to call me. That's the bonding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna give you all the medium household income report. I'm gonna wait till next time. That's my Christmas present to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Give you time to recognize and enjoy family and understand what it's all about. Judge, you may want to follow up on this, but we did have an EDA meeting yesterday, in which everybody was there. And it was a good meeting, about an hour and a half, and I think it's off to a good start, was my feeling. I had suggested that, it's up to you, but we start getting into the nuts and bolts of another part of the county that we don't see. And that Kathy Miles would maybe be the first one to come and start into talking about that. I would like to add another name. Julie, you'll probably be setting this up if the judge agrees about it. But I'd like to hear maybe from Judge Peckler. He deals in family court and deals with issues that we don't know about.
He doesn't do family court, Judge Petrie does family court.
He what?
Judge Petrie is a
Judge
family
Petrie
court
does
judge,
family.
Peckler doesn't.
Oh,
do
I'm
family.
sorry, and I meant to say Bruce, but Peckler, yeah. I think he can share some things with us that we will find incredibly not knowing that these things go on. But I don't see how he does it every day or whenever he has court. So I would recommend that he go on the list as a potential consideration.
You talking about Petrie or Peckler? Both?
Petrie.
Petrie, okay.
Yeah, family court, because that's where a lot of what we see and hear, and it starts in the family.
We better bring you Hankster along with you.
Yeah. So anyway, but Merry Christmas to all. It's been a
Stories.
pleasure. And it's just been a pleasure. You know, every day is exciting, and I think the effort that this court has made has been tremendous. And we've accomplished a lot, and we got a lot more to do.
We do.
Merry Christmas.
We do. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
I want to add, Judge, can I add one other thing that's still on my mind, and I intended to say one. Jason brought that up about suicide. If you call, anytime you call into VA hospital or VA to set an appointment up with your primary care physician, or you call for, I guess, some medicine there, the first thing you hear is if you're suicidal, or if you need to know somebody, then they're going to dial this number. So the point I'm trying to make is the fact that the three of us sitting here, we call them brothers and sisters that we serve with, right? And it's shocking to me that the number of our veterans are committing suicide. It is just a shocking figure.
Well, it jumped up after Afghanistan too.
Yeah, it's just awful, and we have so many. If I could ever get to the lottery, I'd build a great shelter or facility for our veterans that are homeless. Because God, there's so many of them that we don't think about and don't know about. So that just really tears at my heart to think about. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Well, thank each and every one of you, my fellow magistrates on the court, and you have before you a book that April and I have come up with. Inside the cover of that book is a personalized inscription from myself, and I want it to convey, it is meant to convey my honor and privilege of serving with you each and every day. And what you do does make a difference to this county, and you do it with a servant's heart, and you serve before, a selfless service, with integrity, and honor that, and it's my privilege to serve with each and every one of you. With this Christmas season coming along, we have some information here that you have from Kathy Miles. We'll get her on the agenda next month. It will be here along with, we'll invite Judge Petrie to come and talk about things. I will let you know, as veterans, I worked and discussed with Connie Allen Harden over in Mercer County. She and some of her cohorts have, at Camp Nelson, had a Christmas wreath on every grave in Camp Nelson this past Saturday. And there was a ceremony that acknowledged and recognized their efforts. It was a tremendous effort. I think some 16,000 plus graves. So that is another outreach to let those that have gone before us to not be forgotten. The EDA, we had a meeting yesterday at Center Works. It was a good first meeting. We had some briefs by the city. We had some general discussions. There was no positions or policies initiated, but there was kind of a general discussion of a roadmap forward and how we want to proceed starting next month. I contacted Kylie Fouché today earlier. There is no yet approved word out of the White House or FEMA regarding the governors and Senators McConnell and Rand and Congressman Guthrie's recommendation that Boyle County be declared a major disaster area. But we all believe that would be forthcoming, so we're still hopeful, but yet no official word on that designation as of this morning. So we're looking to still receive that. Counselor, I deeply appreciate your participation on this court and what you've done along with all the magistrates. You, in addition to all the staff support that this court gets, and this time and this season, I want you to enjoy some time off that is well deserved to be with your families around the Christmas tree and never forget the reason for the season, because we're here by the grace of God.
Amen.
And so take this time to re-energize not only yourselves but your family with your presence and be there for them during this holiday season and coming up on the new year. I believe that we have some challenges ahead of us in the new year, but this team that is comprised of the court and the support staff that it has around it, we will meet those challenges head on for the betterment of Boyle Countyans everywhere. My Christmas wish is that you be safe, prosperous, and with your families throughout this holiday season. And I do mean Christmas season. I want to adjourn today in honor of and remembrance of Lauren Shiflett and the Shiflett family, who recently lost her life as a young person. And in that loss, we should be challenged and emboldened that going forward, those things that we can affect that take lives away, however medically or otherwise, that we should do all we can in our power to save lives in every regard. So it is with a motion that we adjourn court today in honor of Lauren Shiflett. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, I hope I am.
Yep.
Made by Magistrate Cullen, and we'd like to honor that name with a certificate. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Gentlemen, we thank you for 2021. We look forward to 2022. This court is in adjournment in honor of Lauren Shiflett. Thank you.